Welcome back to Just Talking. We have a great guest for us today, and that is Dr. Paul F. Trebian, President and CEO of the International Institute of Wisconsin. Thank you so much for being here, Paul.
Oh, it's great to be talking with you.
So maybe for those who don't know, what is the International Institute of Wisconsin?
Well, the International Institute of Wisconsin is a human services institute. We actually have been around for over 100 years. We started out with immigration and naturalization services, translation and interpretation. And we've actually expanded to taking care of newcomers, the eligible refugees that are, in need to come to the United States, through the Department of Homeland Security and such. And we take care of them, help them get a good start to become self-sufficient. But we also have International Visitors Leadership Program with the Department of State, where they bring leadership from all over the world, and they talk about issues like freshwater studies, for example. We have a great urban research University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, who does a lot of freshwater studies, for example. And they come here, we talk about topics that are of importance around the world. And we also host a holiday folk fair for 81 years now. So that's a wonderful event.
Maybe for those who haven't been to the Holiday Folk Fair, what is the Holiday Folk Fair?
Well, the Holiday Folk Fair is a place to gather, and you get to see cultural groups perform dances and hear their music. You get to taste some of their traditional foods, and also you learn about their cultures. There's cultural exhibits, and there's a marketplace as well to buy items. But most of the people come to see the dancing and to taste all that traditional great food.
Let's talk about, there's also a theme every year that the Holiday Folk Fair. What is the theme this year?
Well, this year it's celebrate the culture of traditional art, and that's really special to me because my native culture is Tlingit Nation. It's in Southeast Alaska, and art is real important to our culture. It helps to identify ourselves, and the regalia that we wear is about remembering. So the artwork, atu, is helps us remember our ancestors and our mother and grandmother and our fathers. And it's wonderful to be able to celebrate that. All the cultures have some form of art. And then, of course, the featured food is traditional desserts, which is always popular at Holiday Folk Fair.
Isn't there, before the event starts, there's like some sort of citizenship thing going in the, like a ceremony before that? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, as you're saying, the Holiday Folk Fair is a 3-day event. It starts on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it's November 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. But on the 22nd, we have a naturalization service. It starts about 2:30. It depends on how many are going to be naturalized. This year, we're expecting 200 to be naturalized. And last year, we had 300. So it's a really good number. It's a real wonderful day. Somebody is starting a journey as a new citizen. So it's a mark. It's not an end. It's a transition, and now you're moving into a whole new part of your life. So it's a great beginning, and it's wonderful to see that. A lot of family comes, friends.
I do like you brought up the educational aspect. There's also, I think there's like a heritage lane involved, or where they got pictures of different things. Maybe you can expand on that.
Okay, so we have like pictures. This year we're going to have pictures of desserts with the recipes.
Okay.
And then Heritage Lane is where there's a lot of the cultural booths for all the different cultures that participate at Holiday Folk Fair. Some of them have dance groups as well. When you go down that lane, you'll see different countries or different cultures represented, and their heritage and their values are taught, and everything that's important to how they pass down knowledge of their ancestry and such. You get to see that in display.
And then also there's activities for children too, isn't there, like a corner area or Is there, I mean, I guess that's
Well,
the question. Is there children activities?
oh yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because there are games that are out for them to play. I remember every year I see this big chess set, that people can grab onto these big chess pieces. But there's usually like things like a chess tournament and whatnot. But since you're bringing up children, Education Day is on Friday, and it starts 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this year we already have 4,000 students signed up to come and participate in Education Day, where the schools come and there's parents and chaperones, and they get to go around and take a look at all of the great information that helps them understand their world from a human standpoint. They may even be looking at some of their own cultural history as well. So it's really wonderful for the children to see and to begin to understand a bigger and larger world.
Also, that another education and instructional aspect, I think there's like a chef's corner. Is there like demonstrations of preparing a
Oh,
certain?
yeah, there's various demonstrations, the culinary, and I really think that as you walk around, you'll see people demonstrating things. I remember in past holiday folk fairs, you would see somebody putting together their regalia, or they would be weaving something. Or one year we had bread was the featured food, and that was actually artwork. Some people would weave the bread and whatnot. And that's what I think is really neat about Holiday Folk Fair. Our theme this year is celebrating the culture of traditional art. But you come and you take a look, and you're in your mind, if you come before, you think about what was there before, and it's like a continuance. So, as I mentioned before, we try to keep things as familiar from a layout standpoint as possible, so that you be able to, in your mind, think, oh, this has progressed a little differently, this group, or I'm seeing something I didn't see before, or I'm thinking about participating. Maybe I'll find a group that I'm actually part of and I want to get involved. And I think that's one of the best things about it, is that we can explore uh, part of our roots. And then for me, uh, being a Tlingit, a Southeast Alaskan, the values that I have, and when I take a look at the values of other cultures, I find similarities. And then I begin talking about those, and you get to know people through common values, shared values. And then there's differences. And what this world needs right now is people to understand differences and celebrate them.
And again, I'm glad you said that you have a familiar layout every year, because every time I leave and come back, it feels like I never left. It's just that's
Yeah.
such a fun type of atmosphere as well. If we could just touch a little bit on the music, so there's different stages. How many stages are there? I know that there's different areas, I should say.
Well, we have the town stage and then the main stage. And this year in the main stage, it's a little larger because the dance groups are becoming a little larger. And also, we have a new background that I'm real excited that you're gonna have to come and see it.
I'll be there.
And I like when we have different artwork that goes up that kind of um, ties things together. And so I'm really excited about that. The main stage is a little larger. It's wider this year, and it accommodates the groups. And so we react to it. And what I'm hoping is that more of the youth will see what's going on and want to get involved, because that's how they learn and hold on to our values and heritage and pass it down. So,
People behind the scenes as well. I believe you have a great volunteer base. Do you need any more volunteers to help participate in this event?
well, we can always use volunteers. You never know how much work is going to be done. But what I think we should do is have people go to folkfair.org and look at the links there. You can also email hff at iiwisconsin.org. And that email will go through. And if you want to volunteer, you can just do a shout out through that. And the location is Expo Center at the Wisconsin State Fair. So there's plenty of opportunity. We love to have volunteers because they always have a good experience, and the help is always much appreciated.
So I guess I'll end with this. Why should someone go out to the Holiday Folk Fair this year?
Well, I mean, that's always a great question. And I myself have been with the International Institute of Wisconsin for 12 years. And just a year and a half ago, I stepped up and put my hat in for this presidency. And I just absolutely love this organization. But being involved for so long and going to Holiday Folk Fair year after year, it's just a wonderful experience. And that question comes up every year. And the reason, I think the number one reason to go is to discover new things or look at things you're familiar with and try to discover a new way to approach it or to apply it. Because when you think about it, heritage and culture is something that is timeless, but it also evolves. And in times where we have tough things to deal with, looking back at where we have come from can help us to anticipate how to move forward. And in this case, we're celebrating things together. We're celebrating the culture of traditional art, taking a look at that and saying, well, this art makes me feel this way. How can I act on that feeling in a new way? And that's one of the biggest reasons I think people should come, is to look at our cultures, seek them out, or look at cultures you're not familiar with, and to discover how you can plug into them, or how you can relate to them, or how to introduce them to other friends. Because let's say you come on Friday and you're like, oh, I love this. I'm going to bring my friend on Saturday and share my experience and say, let's find another place together. Because if you take your time and take a look, the time flies by and you're like, oh, I got to come back tomorrow and look at the next booth next to it.
Absolutely.
So it's a great way to come and learn.
Yeah, I say this is just a 4-star event every year. I encourage everyone to go to this Holiday Folk Fair. And that maybe we'll end with this. How can someone get more information? Is there a website and learn more information about the upcoming event?
Well, yes, I would definitely go out to folkfair.org and take a look at that. We also have a Facebook presence. You can do a search and look for Holiday Folk Fair, and you'll get images there too. I think it's a great place to go. And then, of course, just another plug for volunteers. If you go to and email hff@iiwisconsin.org, you can put a request out there and see what's available to do that. But I would actually say, go there and look at the dance, taste some food, and then learn. So that's wonderful. And of course, the ticket prices, they're $13 in advance. They're $16 at the gate, and children 7 and under are free, and senior citizens 62 plus are $14 at the gate with ID, and then of course the military with ID are free. So,
okay. And this is held at the State Fair Expo Center, correct?
yep, the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair.
All right. Well, once again, it's a great event to go out, and that's the Holiday Folk Fair. Dr. Paul F. Trebian, we thank you so much for talking with us today. And again, congratulations on a great upcoming event.
All right. Thank you for talking. Bye-bye.